welcome back to the program. We're continuing on in our election coverage, 2012 with the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake elections. And currently in studio, we have Peter Paul. And we'd like to welcome you to studio. Pete, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Bring us up to date.
Up to date. Well, I guess let me start at the beginning. I've been fortunate enough to have had many years experience working for the federal government. I did a lot of, maybe getting old now, but some people remember when I used to run the unemployment office back by the tunnel. So I had many years of experience and a lot of positive experiences helping people in that area. I remember we used to run a lot of programs for youth training. I think you were probably involved in some of them back then.
Yeah, that was KJETA.
The old KJETA days. So I started, actually, my work career started with them for about 5-6 years, both here and in Chateauguay. I like to think did a lot of good things. Said a lot of people, well, obviously seasonal people come work, but other individuals who needed at the time assistance in retraining or finding work and finding I'll say what to do in life, different career paths and things like that. And part of that was the KJETA stuff that came about, and actually helped develop that. Myself, Allison Deer, Ron Abrera, way back when, and then it evolved into, I guess, sort of what it is now, going through DEWA. KJETA was its own independent organization at one point for a few years. Moved on to ABC, Aboriginal Business Canada. Again, another very satisfying and I'll say successful 5-6 years. That was a little bit different. I didn't work as much with people from Kahnawake. I had more of the Cree territories, the Algonquin territories.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time up north. Had a pretty good, that was helping individuals basically start businesses, evaluating business plans, getting them funding from the federal side along with INAC. A lot of times you had to work with INAC.
Right.
So those 12 years were, I said, the start of my career. And I said I worked for on reserve, off reserve, but I was always with the federal government per se. Didn't work locally for organizations. Then I got into some private businesses. Cable company that we went to work in the United States. Had a nice good run there for quite a few years, actually, 5, 6, 7 years, where we helped build Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We did a lot of work in Connecticut, some work in Ohio. Had a lot of guys from town, from our community and also other native communities.
Right, I remember
Worked
that.
about 20, 30 guys when you look back on it. So we gained a lot of valuable experience there. And then from that, the experience building systems and working for companies such as Time Warner, Comcast, Adelphia, some of the so-called big boys in the telecom industry. I guess the idea came where we had the idea, but now we had the experience and the knowledge to build a system that currently exists in Kahnawake. So again, I like to think that was a positive.
Right.
Like I said, well, there's the services that are included in there. There's always, as usual, can't satisfy everyone in town, but I don't think on any subject you can't satisfy everybody in town.
No, definitely not.
As we're finding out. So that took up another good 7-8 years. It's still going currently, obviously, although we don't do as much work in the United States, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, the American dollar isn't as strong as it used to be, and two, a lot of telecom companies aren't rebuilding their systems like they did in the past. There was a couple of bubble bursts there for in the economy, the stock market, so they didn't have as much money, liquidity or capital, cash to build these systems. After that, I got into politics. For better or for worse. Tried that. That was a nice 5-year run.
Because you had done 2 and then 3, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Our first term was for 2 years, and then when I was in there, we had changed it to a 3-year term, so then my second term was 3 years, so I did a total of 5 years. And then after council, I decided to leave. I took a 3-year break, and I said, quite honestly, that was probably the best thing I could do for a number of reasons. And I'll get into why I think chiefs should take breaks in general, hopefully in the next few minutes as our conversation goes, when I discuss other things. So I did a 5-year break there. Sorry, not a 5-year break, but a 5-year run in that. Took a bit of a break, and now it looks like I've decided to re-enter, or try to re-enter the field of politics.
So here we are.
So here we are.
You're back. You're coming back.
Hopefully.
Well, you're back running. That's what I meant.
Yes.
What made you decide to come back after this break?
Well, again, it's the direction that the community is going. Again, at heart, I'm a business person. There's no doubt about that. I always have been, always will be.
Right.
I look at the economics of town, the situation, individuals. I've had a lot of people in the last weeks, let alone months, looking for work. we all understand there's a major industry in town. There's highs and lows with that industry. I think back as to where we should be economically when I go think back of my government days, and I never thought we would still be where we are 25 years later. I thought we would be much, much more advanced in a lot of different areas: industry, manufacturing, retail, sales, so many areas, and yet we haven't gone there. So I guess one of the main reason is the economics. A lot of people looking for work, a lot of people, and there are certain industries that we have to more or less get more on a more solid base, so that people can, at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, people want to work, families need to eat, and people want to earn a living. That's the first, and then everything else falls from there.
Right.
So we have highs and lows. Obviously, we have a very proud history of ironwork, but again, that's an industry that has highs and lows. I find we're very entrepreneurial in town, and that is very, very good. That's excellent, actually, because that brings a different mindset. And people like to have businesses, like to have jobs, and I guess you could say be successful in life, but they want to have pride in what they do, what they accomplish, and things like that.
Right.
So the biggest reason I don't like, or I haven't liked the way we're going in terms of an economy. We have to once and for all to start trying to build an economy that doesn't involve just one industry, that involves a number of industries. Some of these things are slow and tedious. They don't happen overnight. So but at some point you have to start it at some point, because if you never start it, then it'll never get done. So that's my main goal or objective is to get this economy in Kahnawake and to work with the existing economy, but more importantly, to start new types of economies. We have a lot of successful business people in town. We never give them credit. All we do is a lot of times we criticize them. And that's not fair. They have a lot to bring to this community, and they have brought in a lot to this community. So we have to sit down with them once and for all, see what their plans are, what their goals are for the future. Some of them are getting older now. Are they going to pass their businesses on to their kids? Are their kids capable of taking over their businesses? Do they need improvements in their businesses, expansions? And then maybe they want to do different things. If you're in one industry, you say, well, I would like to try this.
Right.
Medium, small size enterprises or businesses, in my opinion, are going to be our future. It'd be nice to get bigger corporations or companies to come in. Hopefully we can, and that's what I plan on doing if I'm elected in. I need to get out there and go meet some of these companies, the bigger ones, and see what the possibilities there are for them to relocate here. We need the infrastructure, though, to be able to handle them if they do relocate here. What type of workers do they need? What types of training do these workers need? So to me, and that's some will say, well, that's a job of Deweduni Zakta. And again, perhaps, but there's also a key component there at a political level where someone has to be out there, I'll say, making the introductions, receiving the individuals, and selling Kahnawake to an extent, and a positive light, why they should relocate, why we have a workforce that can satisfy their needs, their demands. And so that's something, and this time around, that I really, really want to concentrate and not get sidetracked. When you're in council, sometimes you get sidetracked because of issues that come in, they're time sensitive, and you sort of lose focus and direction as to why you're in there. And that's easy to do in council when you're in there, in my opinion.
I mean, no doubt, I don't think anyone can challenge, that you definitely have that business experience. How would you bring that to this position, and could you?
At council, you mean? As a chief?
if you're elected.
Well, ironically, I think it's very important to have that type of experience, because at council you deal with a lot of budgets, and there's a lot of issues, HR issues, personnel issues. You have to forecast budgets, what type of money's coming in, and a lot of times the decisions you make at the council table, I use the term monopoly. It's easy to play monopoly because you can take risk, but at the end of the day, what have you lost? Personally, you have not lost anything. I find that to be a very dangerous way to make decisions. Community money is not free money. At the end of the day, something or someone suffers, because when you make a bad decision with community money, that's money that is lost, and it doesn't fall out of the tree, as some people like to think, or you don't have someone covering that debt. So the decisions you have to make as a council chief, when you've run your own business, when you've sweated out nights, when you've thought, did you do the right thing? Is this a mistake? You appreciate the I'll say the monetary aspect, and you try to make the right decision rather than ask. No big deal. We'll get the money back from, be it a province or a federal government, provincial government, and those days are over. I mean, in my opinion. So you have to be very, very careful. So being a business owner, ironically, is probably one of the best experiences you can have to be in council and be a chief. You get to see firsthand the demands, the people that are looking for work, the donation demands out there. You see where I'll say strengths, but also weaknesses in our economy, and you get hit with all kind of requests. So to me, that's an eye opener, and I think that's extremely important. I think probably one of the most important experiences that could help you in an asset wise as being a chief is if you are a business owner.
Right. For sure, I think that it would be a bonus, if you will. How do you think some of your other experience would transcend into this position?
Well, other than business and politics, that takes up a good 20, 25 years of my life. I've been involved in a lot of other activities, a lot of sports activities in town, lacrosse being one of them, coaching with the kids, soccer at one point. You get a different perspective, you get a different view of the community. Again, most of it positive, some of it negative, and there's no way around that.
Right.
So again, just by being a father, by being a parent, there's certain things in life that you think you're ready for, you realize you're not. You only have to experience them or go through them when things happen.
Right.
You like to think you can control things in the future or sort of put in a certain path.
Right.
And that doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, so, for sure. I think most people can relate to that, right?
Yeah, for better and for worse. But and that's life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's all kind of life experiences. I've lived here all my life. I plan on living here all my life. I've worked in the community for the most part, although I said for a long time I was with the feds and I worked off. But I mean, I lived till... I think all those experiences globally, I would like to think make me a good candidate. I'm outspoken, for better or for worse. Some people like that, some people don't. I accomplish things. That's, I think, my biggest asset. When I know I want to do something, I get it done. And I take pride in that. It's something, it's not always for money. Again, people say, well, it's easy for you to say no because of the situation you're in or whatever. But it's more the pride, the sense of accomplishment. The money's a byproduct for a lot of times. It's you want to, everyone wants to sort of say that you accomplish things in life, personal and also professionally. So
yeah,
all those experiences, I think, are what's it. Hopefully, people think I'm a capable individual to get back in. Like I said, I did 5 years. I thought I did a pretty good job. I made mistakes. I wasn't perfect. Sometimes this time around, I think I've matured even more. I think I have a greater appreciation for what is needed to be in there. I'm going to have to, I don't say bite my tongue, but I have to act differently. You can't always be I'm going to be vocal, make no mistake about it, and I'm going to stand my ground and do what I think needs to be done. But at the same point, I think a different approach is, maybe that's life, just getting a little bit older now. So I definitely have to, or I plan on changing my approach to an extent on how I deal with things. And when, like I said, a lot of positives, but I also trusted, I'll say chiefs a little bit too much my last time around. And this time around, I thought I was fair with them. I enjoyed working with them. I helped them a lot because a lot of times they would come in and ask me to explain certain things. How does this work? How does that work? And by all means, that door was always open, and I did a lot of, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't have a problem with that. But like I said, this time around, I have a better idea as to how it can be in there, and so, that's why I took a break too. I needed to get out of that atmosphere. I didn't think it was fair for the community if I didn't want to be in there because of certain situations. I said it's better to get out.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna have to wrap it up, but in your opinion, what are some of the biggest or bigger issues that Kahnawake-Oireachtas are facing today that you feel that you would like to deal with or the table needs to deal with?
Well, I sort of addressed it already by saying our economy.
Okay.
Because, like I said, with the highs and lows of the tobacco industry and people working, that's a labor-intensive market. There's a lot of people that work in there. When things are going good, a lot of people are working, and everyone sees the benefits of that. That's a industry that we have to solidify to make sure it exists for the future, and it's on a much more solid ground. In general, though, like I said, but you still don't want your economy just on one industry. You need a lot of other things to play in a so-called global economy. So obviously, I think that's one of the key aspects is we have to look at those and help local businesses succeed and become more successful, and help new businesses come into the community in all different sectors where there's jobs to be created. Again, it'd be nice to say it happens overnight. If it was, then I would be wrong. And over the last 20, 25 years, we have, and the frustrating part too is you see all of the development that happens around us in the outlying communities.
Yes, huge development.
We have the prime location in Canada, also especially being native, to do so many things, yet we haven't done that. And I said that's something that I have to take I need to spend a lot of time, and also with the council chiefs. No one chief can do everything. You need the assistance at the table. I'm hoping this time around, as to what's happened recently, that some of the eyes around the table, or hopefully with some newcomers that are coming in there, that they take it as serious, because in the past I didn't think they believed that things were going to slow down or get worse. There's always some type of, I won't say miraculous, but some type of something at the end of the rope to hold us over, to bide us over. And those are just short-term solutions. We need to start looking at the long-term solutions.
Okay. Pete, is there anything else you'd like to add or feels important before we close?
No, just in general, good luck to everyone. I'll say this, it takes a little bit of courage to put yourself out there. No one likes to lose. I'm sure the ones that don't, there's a little bit of an ego blow, or you feel, but it does take a lot of courage to try it, and it's better to have tried and failed than to have never tried at all. If I'm lucky to be chosen by the community, then like I said, I know I'll do an excellent job, and we'll see where it goes from there. Politics, I don't think politics is meant to be a career, meaning a long term, but I mean, I think it's important to try it, to do it, and then more importantly, to take a break, step back, get back into the community, and then if you feel you want to return and you have more and better, I'll say, assets or experiences to bring back, and you go from there. So good luck to everyone, best of luck, and more importantly, I hope a lot of people come out and vote, like the casino referendum. Even if you don't want to vote for me, vote for someone, because whether people like it or not, MCK as an institution or organization does represent the community, and everyone in town is affected by the decisions that they make. So I understand some of the religious or political not animosity, but they don't believe in it, and fair enough, I don't have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, like I said, what council does affect everyone and will affect us for a long time. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in, and good luck on July 7th.
I appreciate it.
And stay tuned, we have more candidates and more coverage of the elections 2012, the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake elections, that is. So don't go away, we're going to be right back after this quick commercial break.